All right, people. So, our review of the day is going to be for the film called Shortcomings. Shortcomings is a movie directed by Randall Park. Randall Park, people probably know. He was Kim Jong-un in The Interview. He was on a series on ABC called Fresh Off the Boat with Constance Wu on there. You've probably seen him around in a bunch of different places. Who actually has a cameo in this film himself. So this is his directorial debut, if I'm correct, right?
Yes, it is. Directorial debut based on a screenplay by Adrian Tomini, who it's an adaptation of his graphic novel of the same name.
Okay. And in this film, Shortcomings, it's about a character named Ben, Alice, and Miko, mainly about the character of Ben. And when you watch this movie, he's a guy that is completely insufferable. He's somebody, if you've watched a Woody Allen movie, you pretty much, I think you'll probably draw that comparison from it. I can see people not liking this movie because, you know what I mean, the character is such a douchebag and is such an asshole in it because he is so, judgmental. What's the word I'm looking for?
He's an asshole.
Yeah, asshole. Yeah, pretty much there. Now Ben's in a relationship with Miko. They've been in a relationship for I think they say a couple years now. And he just constantly is overcritical of everything. You see that, the dynamics of their relationship is kind of very strained. It even gets more strained when Miko ends up kind of going to New York for like an internship. And he's trying to like figure himself out in between that time. He, maybe he has some type of fetish, you know what I mean? Maybe for white women that get explored in the movie. You also have Sherry Cola in this movie who plays Alice, who's his best friend. She's a lesbian in this, who people probably just have recently seen Sherry Cola because she was just in the film Joyride, which we reviewed, which is up on the channel, which we like Joyride. I like that movie quite a bit. I thought that was a fun movie and I thought she was very fun in it. And she's a comedian. Sherry Cole is. So yeah, she's his best friend in it, and they constantly are talking about their romantic, relationships and how they kind of fall out, and how they have trouble there. So it's very much that type of, early 30 something trying to figure life out, and romance and love and everything like that. And they live in the Bay Area, in this film. And so it's very much kind of one of those kind of slice of life type movies there about this character trying to like figure stuff out. You think he would have figured things out now. He's in his 30s, but nah, he's still a dumbass, still don't know what's kind of going on. It kind of explores a lot of kind of those different dynamics and a lot of stuff. This being a movie that's directed by Randall Park, starring who is Asian, and this is an Asian cast, and here you do a lot of those Asian cultural kind of dynamics that are in the movie. It's funny that this movie, even the beginning of it, it's kind of making fun of another Asian movie, and I think the movie that they're parodied in this is like they do it like he goes to see like a fake movie is I think basically Crazy Rich Asian.
It's absolutely a parody of Crazy Rich Asians. It's the movie is making no ifs, ands, or buts about that.
Yeah, because he walks out talking about the movie Ben does with his girlfriend Miko, and he says like, yeah, it's a capitalistic exploration of love and this and that of this. So yeah, basically a riffing on Crazy Rich Asians. So there's a lot of things like that in the movie. Nick, what are some of your thoughts on Shortcomings here?
Yeah, so for me, Shortcomings was kind of a hard movie to watch because you have a protagonist that is so thoroughly unlikable, and the movie doesn't really. Movie's point is not to make him likable. I don't think you're ever really supposed to root for Ben. I think this is a piece where it's a character study about this guy who's kind of in the middle of this arrested development, and it's about him. And the movie is about us as an audience watching him, hoping that this man will get his fucking shit together.
Yeah. He's got a great girlfriend in Miko. She's pretty awesome. And yeah, it's just like he just is one of those people that just can't keep, seems like good things in his life going. A lot of projection, it seems like goes on with him, a lot of, failed opportunities that he had in his life. He's kind of projecting that onto, other people.
Yeah, especially with the dynamic between him and Alice, who's played by Sherry Cola. It's two characters that are essentially just both massive self-saboteurs. It's like every good thing that they come into contact in their lives, they just think that I don't deserve this, so they just find a way to sabotage it for themselves. And so much of the movie is about them trying to realize their own faults and shortcomings and why they do that, and hopefully learn to grow.
Mm, yeah. Marlowe's film, quick. This is a quick little thing. He said he had the opportunity to see this or theater
Mhm,
camp. He saw theater camp instead. Do you think that was
mhm.
the right decision?
I think theater camp's a more fun watch. I
Yeah.
would say that because while I did have a couple like very hard chuckles in this, especially because a lot of the jokes in here are just little quips about random topics and a lot of things that catch me off guard. I thought theater camp was more consistently funny.
Yeah, because this is some hard moments in here. There's some
Mhm.
arguments that happen that are some real like cut to the heart type arguments.
Yeah, arguments
Uh,
that I may or may not have had with past partners.
so that's yeah. So it'll get kind of pretty rough. You have a supporting cast here. You got Jacob Babylon, who people that know he was Spider Man. He was Jacob. I
Mhm.
mean, he was Ned Leeds. I'm sorry, he was Ned Leeds in the Spider Man movies. There, who they actually make a Spider Man joke in here, real quick. That was kind of funny. He works at the movie theater that Ben operates. He's a manager of. You also have Scott Seas, who's in this, who we just saw in Cocaine Bear. He's the guy that people probably seen on TikTok before. We mentioned him before. He's in here, who also works there. They have some good funny moments in here as well. There's the actress who I could have sworn when I first saw her in the movie. She's the like a new partner that comes up in Alice's life. I thought
Mhm.
it was the woman
Yeah,
who
that's
played
a
Electra
no,
from.
that's Sonoya Mizuno, who she was in Ex Machina. She was in Crazy Rich Asians as well. She was in the Beauty and the Beast remake and La La Land.
Yeah. And I was like, she looks a lot like Elodie Young. I was like, I know it's not her, but she looks kind of similar to her. But yeah, she's in here. So how do you like the supporting cast of kind of this movie or some of these other different characters?
Yeah, for me, the supporting cast is really where this film gets a lot of its strength because Ben is just kind of insufferable as a character. It relies on its supporting cast to bring some light to it and to kind of showcase a lot of, this could be you if you would, just quit beating down on yourself so hard.
Mm, yeah. And the movie, a lot of the topics it kind of discusses, about these kind of different dynamics, about like kind of these things in this relationship, and about him being this guy that is a heterosexual guy, cis guy, as they kind of bring up in the movie a lot,
Mhm,
and how he's talking about these different things. Those kind of moments in the movie where they kind of talk about those things, and like especially the racial dynamics are
mhm,
there, because it seems like his girlfriend Miko mentions like maybe he does have a type as far as maybe white women and things like that.
mhm.
Do you think that that's handled pretty well? Uh,
Uh, I think it's handled pretty actually very beautifully, and it is kind of putting a bit of a light on this kind of odd racial dynamic when it comes to dating, especially with Asian men versus Asian women. If we tried to date outside of our race, we always kind of get these odd looks. Even just me as a Filipino man, when I was dating in Japan, I always get the side eye. And this movie actually takes a look at that in a way that isn't using it as the butt of a joke, but actually trying to dig down into the real dynamic that there is.
mm, yeah. What do you think about a lot of the kind of, I guess, Asian cultural things that are added in this movie? Because I know Alice, she's what was she? She was
Yeah,
Chinese,
she's playing a Korean.
Korean, and then he's Japanese.
Mhm.
And then she was like, "Don't tell my parents that you're Japanese." Everything like that. How did you like a lot of the Asian cultural dynamics in this?
Oh, some of the cultural stuff were the hardest laughs that I ever got because yeah, you and all know I used to date a Chinese woman, and she would always like tell me whenever she was introducing me to friends of hers or her parents that yeah, just don't bring up that you're Filipino
Mm,
because yeah, they don't see us as like real Asian.
okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I
So
mean, yeah, and I always say, well, it's kind of hard to hide that.
mm, okay. Yeah. So you think that was handled pretty well? Yeah.
Mhm,
Um, do you think that this is a pretty good directorial debut from Randall Park? Do
mhm.
you think it skews too much closer to trying too hard to be like a Woody Allen movie? Because I mean, I think I could
Um,
I could really imagine Ben, this character, being such a self-insert for like Woody
mhm.
Allen and everything like that. Do you think it's trying a little too skews a little too close to being a Woody Allen film? What's your thoughts
Mm,
on that?
I don't think it's leaning more into that, because I think in Woody Allen films, he ultimately wants you to sympathize and like those characters. But with the shortcomings in Randall Park and even Tamine's original graphic novel, Ben isn't meant to be a sympathetic character. I don't think you're meant to like Ben while he's going on this journey. This is very much about him trying to get his shit together. And Park, I think for a first time director, I don't think he takes the easy way out with a character like this, because the movie's ending, it hints at kind of a redemptive arc, but here it doesn't go all the way with it, and it feels much more true to the character, which I don't think you would. I don't think a lot of people that are first time directors, especially with a project like this, I don't think a lot of people would have made that call.
Yeah. As I mentioned before, yeah, not a lot of people probably gonna like it because this dude is
Mhm.
so much of an asshole. And he's pretty much an asshole through pretty much most of it. And pretty much all the way up to the end of it. And yeah, it's not something where it's just like, it kind of leaves you on a little bit of a good note,
Mhm.
I would say. But yeah, it's definitely like maybe, maybe he'll stop being less of an asshole, maybe a question mark, kind of thing, which I did like. I did like that. I thought that felt real. And that felt good
Mhm.
to it. So I did enjoy that about it. Um, yeah, yeah. So I thought this was a solid, strong movie. Good
Mhm.
directorial debut there from Randall Park. I'd love to see more for him. Really like it. I'd love to see actually more of this actor Justin H. Min, who plays Ben in here. Love to see
Yeah,
more of him.
yeah, and for all of you who think this guy looks familiar, that's because he plays Ben on the Umbrella Academy.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. He's the dead one. He's the dead
Mhm.
guy. Oh, okay. Interesting. Interesting.
And he was
Okay.
also in After Yang as the title character in there.
Okay, I haven't seen After Yang. I haven't seen that. I haven't seen that movie. Good things. Good things about that movie.
I've heard good things. I also haven't seen it. It was
Okay.
kind of one of those that kind of slipped by.
Oh, that was the movie with Colin Farrell and Jodie Turner Smith in it. Oh,
That's
okay.
the one. Yep.
Yeah, I have heard good things about that movie, so maybe I'll check that out. Yeah, but yeah, I'd love to see some more things from him. Sherry Cola, yeah, I think she's really good also in this as well, and the woman who plays Miko. Let me try to get her
Yeah,
name
Ali
here.
Maki, who plays Miko in this. She was uh, she was in a TBS show called Wrecked, and she was the voice of Giggle McDimples in Toy Story 4.
Okay. Don't remember that character all that much, but I haven't seen Toy Story 4 in a minute. I haven't seen that in a long time. Marla's film says After Yang is great. Okay, so maybe I'll check it out then. Maybe I'll give it a watch. Thank you, Terry Thompson. Thank you for the lurk, man. Much appreciated. So yeah, I quite enjoyed this movie. And it gets in, gets out. It's an hour and 30. Good. I mean, I think this is a good, solid romantic comedy, romantic dramedy, I guess you could say. Yeah. So I give it a good tune in for me. What about you then? Final thoughts for you.
Me, it took a while for me to get into this movie, and because Ben is such an asshole of a character to everybody around him, it was hard for me to get into him, because I didn't know what emotion I was meant to be feeling watching sort of the first act of this movie. It was like, am I supposed to like this guy, or am I supposed to just be fascinated by him? And I ended up leaning more into the latter the longer the movie went on, especially when it gets to more of the second and third act, where he has a kind of fling with the white woman who's played by Debbie Ryan, and as him and Sherry Cola's dynamic changes throughout the rest of the movie. I ended up really enjoying it, but I do think that it
You liked it when he got with
does.
that white woman, huh? Like that,
A boy
huh?
can dream. A boy can dream.
That's when you're being like, hey, maybe this guy ain't so bad after all.
Oh
Uh,
no, no, I was still like, fuck this dude. But 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 I thought that it was a very, very interesting and very engaging character study about a lot of themes that are kind of going through my head right now, like this question of identity, these questions uh, of growing and changing and actually looking inward into myself. I related a lot to that. Did I necessarily enjoy the journey there? that's kind of a more complicated question. And I think this movie is best served as a stream in. I ended up really liking it, but it took a bit for me to get into it in its first act.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I could see that. It'd be something great to watch. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if this is a good date movie. You might.
Oh no. Oh no.
Yeah, I don't know. It might not be good to watch on a
Yeah,
date.
double feature of this and Past Lives.
Yeah, you might just break up with your girl then and there. At least past lives, though. At least that's hopeful. That's kind of hopeful, though. A little bit. It's at least not about people who kind of are in a miserable relationship. It's about people in a happy one.
Yeah, this and Marriage Story are the perfect double feature.
Yeah. So yeah. So you gave it a stream it. I gave it a tune in for.
Yeah, I give it a very high stream it, bordering on a tune in.
Okay. For Shortcomings.